good. Welcome to the channel. I am about to show you how I make my coffee at home and how I'm trying to recreate a coffee I would get out, but for less money. So stay tuned. I'm using Cuisinart Coffeemaker, and it's going to be a process since hot coffee to cold coffee to iced coffee is kind of a, it's a whole process. You can probably use any brand, but I'm using the Folgers Classic Roast. I already put a filter in here. I like these filters. I don't like the white filters. I like the brown ones because I feel like the white ones are the ones that are bleached, but this is just what I go for. What I'll do is I'm gonna fill this to number 12. So it's like 12 cups. It's basic. I'm sure everybody knows how to make coffee. This is just like the beginning stage. I figured I would just cover this as well. So I'm going to fill this up with water. So it's filled to the 12th line or 12th cup. I'm just gonna put it in where the water goes. Well, before that, so I have the water filled up off to the side. I'm going to add about half of that in the scoops into the filter. I don't like to fill it all to the top. I feel like it gets way too strong. So I just have it in like a little measuring cup thingy. All right, we're done with that portion. Don't need that anymore. Now we're going to fill the water into where the water goes, And then I'm putting the cap back on, which you could have kept the I guess I could have kept the cap back on, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to shut that, and I'm just gonna put it on, and it's just on auto, so I can just let it do its thing. I don't need to click anything else. It's basically just set up. So I'm going to let this brew, and then we're gonna cool it down and make it into my iced coffee. I'll see you in a bit after this is all done. The coffee just finished, so I'm going to let it sit on an oven mitt and let it cool down since it just finished. I will check back in after it's done. So it's been about, I want to say 30 minutes. Usually you need to let it sit a lot longer, but for time purposes, we're going to try to cut the time, shorten the time a little bit. So there's one way I can do that is I have this container that I put the coffee in, and I've had it sitting in the fridge so it's a little cooled down. So once this is more cooled down, what I'm going to do is pour it into the container. What I'll do normally, if the coffee's way too hot and you don't want to put it on ice because it gets that weird like aftertaste, if you've ever tried to do that with hot coffee and ice, I will use like an additive or just like another supplemented coffee that's already pre-made. This is the SToK or SToK cold brew coffee, 10-hour brew, and this is like what I'll usually use if I don't have time to make my own coffee, or I just like do a half and half, so then it's more cold than having it feel like it's like lukewarm cold. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this and then a little bit of the actual fresh coffee, since for time purposes, it's probably not gonna be ready for another hour or two, so we're not gonna wait that long. I'm going to put it in this like little mason jar. I think it's really cute. And I'm gonna add some ice, so let's do that. So I added some ice. I don't wanna add too much ice because it's such a small container. Obviously you could use a bigger container, but for aesthetic purposes today, we're gonna use this. We're gonna add some of the SToK or SToK here. We're gonna add this first, some of this coffee first. I feel like a little less than halfway is fine. Yeah, I feel like a little less than halfway is fine for that. This is not necessary, but for me, sometimes I'll get this, is the Torani salted caramel syrup. Some people don't like these syrups, but the salted caramel I do like, and you only need like so little of it that it does add to the coffee, especially if like you don't drink with cream or you drink unflavored or non-flavored creamer. So this is a good alternative, the salted caramel specifically. So I'm gonna add that before I add the rest of the coffee. So I only add like a little bit, like don't need a lot. That's all you need. I'm going to add some of the coffee still hot, unfortunately. Since I'm having to do this like weird layering process, I wouldn't normally do that. I would just put it in the container. I would just put it in the cup and not have to do all these steps. Right now I have this creamer opened. It is the Coffee Dream coffee creamer. It's hazelnut. It has actual cream in it. It's not the fake cream, but it also has fake cream. It's like half and half fake, real. I don't natural and artificial. This one's not particularly my favorite. I've been trying to get away from like the really flavorful creams. I tried it, but I probably won't get this again. It's not bad. I don't have this open. This is what I would normally pick. It's the Natural Bliss by Coffeemaker. It's the real milk and cream with caramel flavoring, and it literally only has like a few ingredients, and that's why I like this one the most. This is like my go-to, but it's not opened right now, so I'm gonna try to finish this creamer before I open this one, but this would be my top pick. This would be my favorite for creamer. I'm going to add just like a little, and obviously it's gonna vary on how you like your cream, if you want like a little bit or you don't want any, or you like really light. It like needs to mix, but what I do, this is like just not even has anything to do with it. I use Premier Protein. This could also just be used as a creamer, but it's just to remind me to have some protein, even though I do eat this with a meal, so it's not like a meal replacement for me. It's just, it's so I remember to have it. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But you could use this as a creamer if you really wanted to. It's like, this is the caramel flavor. It's pretty similar to the vanilla. I don't really see much of a difference, but it's pretty good. I do add that with my coffee, or I have it right afterwards. When I have my coffee, I have a meal because I don't think eating or drinking coffee on an empty stomach is a great idea. So about to eat, but really wanted to show how I make my coffee. And I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the SToK just to like top it off. I feel like it just needs like a little bit more. This is basically all I do when I am either making coffee or I just need like a really quick one to make. And obviously some of these are customizable. You could add like other things to it. You could add sugar to it. You don't even have to add cream to it. You don't have to add any of these flavors to it. You might just want it hot. This is just how I make my iced coffee. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.